everybody. I'm so excited. We have another Life and Lore stream again. It's going to be lots of fun. I just realized I look kind of sickly a little bit. My lighting's all jacked up. I swear I feel okay. We actually had like a power outage and it turned off our lighting and it came back on and it came on full blast. So it's literally, it's all jacked up anyways. But yeah, I'm excited. We're going to be talking about Qui-Gon today, doing some giveaways. I'm going to say what's up. We got Christopher here, got Average here. We've got Cooper who waited and waited and waited. Homie's excited. Got Quinn. How's it going? And Quinn, I saw that you said you're new here. Very cool, man. Glad to have you here. What's up, Timothy?
Hey.
I think I call you Tall Tim. I always forget what I call you. What's up? What's up, Padawannabe? Congrats on 2.5K. Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Matt. Oh, Quinn. I'm sorry. I'm a girl, but thanks. I say man generally and dude kind of generally, but I will remember to not say that. I gotta like go away from just man so generally. But hello, Quinn. Hello, Matt Risman. How's it going, man? Hopefully your travels are well. Just had to throw it in. That's so good. Okay, well, let's go around the block. If you guys, you can just say hello if you want. If you want to pitch anything, Twitch, YouTube, I don't know, whatever. Strike. Go for it, my man.
All right. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. Really excited to talk a bit of Qui-Gon. Yeah, I have a YouTube channel, Strike_721, Lego stuff and some other things as well. Right now, it's kind of quiet over there because I've been busy, but I'm sure I'm going to upload something soon. So stay tuned.
Awesome, man. Yeah, and I love your builds. You have you and Matt Risman in particular have gotten me into Lego so much, and I have to like be so. I was at the store the other day, and there's all these sets, and I'm like, I've got to be so careful. I'm gonna spend hundreds of dollars.
Yeah,
on...
I'm already sorry because
oh my gosh.
Half. You shouldn't go down.
Yeah. Well, right. The problem is I'll be in the store and I'll be like, hey, this one's only $20, you know? And, but anyway, yeah. What's up, Matt Cave? You're watching while you do the dishes. Fun. I hate the dishes.
But it's definitely a pathway to many abilities, and some include being broke.
That's funny, man. What's up, Fulcrum? I saw Gavin pop up and I threw the G in there. How's it going, Gavin? Aiden, how's it going, man?
Doing pretty good today. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. I really don't have my own channel to plug. I kind of just do my thing, kind of just show up. I don't need Legos to be broke. But
hold on. Yes, he does. Aiden does have a YouTube, and Aiden's a freaking top-notch editor. So plug your channel, bro. I'm sorry for interrupting you, but you're amazing at editing.
It's just my name.
Just Aiden.
Yeah, well, I'll just put it in chat. It's just, I don't consider it a YouTube channel. I just throw whatever I like up there.
There you go.
Oh, Glenn already plugged it. Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah, Qui-Gon, super cool dude. I was gonna.
Imagine if we just ended right there. We're like, okay, guys, cool, Qui-Gon's pretty cool. That's a wrap.
If I was 21, I would have said I would have come on and offered everyone some Qui-Gon's Jinn, but I can't really do that. But I have done that before, Matt. I have done that.
Yeah, we were playing Battlefront 2 yesterday, and we're playing Ewok Hunt, and yeah, we're all stormtroopers, and then Aiden gets super quiet, and found that out.
But hand it over to Blue, so you don't have to listen to my cringe comments anymore.
Sounds good. Blue, what's up, buddy?
I'm going good, bro. How is it?
Doing really well. Yeah, doing well, man. I'm excited to have all of you guys here. This is going to be a lot of fun. You stream a little bit, Mr. Blue. Where
Oh
can we find
yes.
you?
Yes. My Twitch is Night of the Force, and I will literally any game you recommend, I'll give it a go. I also have a YouTube, which is the same, Night of the Force, and I do a lot of streaming on there about my own Star Wars story I'm writing, and a little thing called Tea Talkers with my 3 co-hosts, Aiden, Strike, and Mr. Cash Money. Shout out
Very
Cash
cool.
Money, even though he's not here.
Don't shout him out too much. He doesn't need the attention.
Yeah, he craves attention.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, I'm really excited for this. I don't know if I said hello to Padawannabe, but yeah, hello, Gavin. Do you guys have any lightsabers? I personally don't. I guess I'm not
None
like a
that
real...
I would want to show off. Like
I have the cheap plastic
but...
ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The last time I actually owned a lightsaber was when it was like the collapsible ones.
Yes,
You know?
I have those too. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what mine are.
Hey, those things were cool as a kid. Those things are
dude,
super cool.
they
I would
were.
love to have them.
They hurt. That's what I'll say.
Let's get talking about resistance already. Yeah. What's up, Green Lantern? What's up? Okay, so Qui-Gon. We'll do the same thing, just kind of freeform at the beginning before we start getting into it. And if anybody doesn't know the whole idea of life and lore streams, or to talk about characters we're extremely invested in and interested in, and hopefully have a full picture of their life. Typically here we go by the rule head canon is the best canon. So you may hear official canon, you may hear legends, EU. You may not hear stuff that you want to hear about, but you know what? We're just going to talk about what we like. So with that, just Qui-Gon, like what made you guys interested in hopping onto a stream to talk about Qui-Gon? Go for it. You don't have to raise your hand. Just go.
I just like the idea of being raising my hand, but I wrote a bunch of notes down about Qui-Gon, and
Nice.
I came prepared. So I would just say I've always had a fascination for Qui-Gon. I always thought he was super cool dude in the Phantom Menace. I mean, why are you laughing at me?
No, I'm looking
Don't
at the
smile
comments.
at me.
Sorry, I'm looking at the comments. Please continue.
Yeah, Qui-Gon, he was really dope in the Phantom Menace, and I loved him in Clone Wars as well when he showed up in the Mortis arc. I thought that was really cool. He was like the first Jedi to truly just follow the Force and not really listen to anybody else. Just like, nah, I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna follow the Force, and I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna abide by the Council. They're wrong. And like he just he has a dope green lightsaber, and I'm pretty sure Luke's green lightsaber crystal came from Qui-Gon, if I'm not mistaken. That might be Legends. I don't know. But Duel of the Fates felt like a badass. Fortunately, wasn't fast enough for Darth Maul, but I'm not going to touch base on that. He was just surprised. I don't blame him. When you're in your 60s, I mean, it's pretty difficult. But yeah, I think that Liam Neeson. Well, I also love Liam Neeson, so like, of course, I'm gonna love Qui-Gon. Yeah, I'm just gonna let Stryker, anyone else talk.
Cool. I have a lot that I want to come back to on that. I'm gonna step away for like 45 seconds to a minute. So, Strike, you go for it. You're now the Mr. Nerd. You're in charge for a second. I'm going to be right back.
All right. I'm honored.
We're all doomed.
All right.
Yo.
You will die now. All right.
No.
Yeah, Qui-Gon.
Oh, shit, Dave's here?
Yeah, Dave's here. Yes. He's been shouting us out. Every one of us. Daryl!
Oh,
What's up, brother?
FYI, if anyone
Um,
shouts me out in the comments on my phone, I can't see, so.
all right. Quiet now.
All right.
I'm the boss. All right.
All right.
So
my.
Qui-Gon, very interesting character for sure. Qui-Gon is an interesting one because as a kid, I remember, I liked him as a character, but at the same time, I think I didn't completely understand his significance to the story.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that he was sort of only, well, it was Obi-Wan's master, and that was kind of it. Like the whole thing with him being a good influence for Anakin, I think that's something that I really didn't think about too much for quite a while. So now that I'm older, I kind of look back on these scenes and realize how much Qui-Gon would have probably changed Anakin's life. And it's very interesting. And like I've been reading more about Qui-Gon, and it's just just a very interesting character. And there are so many cues that lead back to Qui-Gon that are really interesting that they were there, and I didn't realize them when I was younger. I don't know if people can relate, but I definitely have fun, like kind of exploring Qui-Gon in this new way. And things like when Dave in the Mandalorian galleries talked about Qui-Gon and Qui-Gon's significance, what would have happened if he would have survived. I mean, people were like, "Oh, but we already knew that." Well, yes and no. I think the way Dave explained it really kind of exemplified that Qui-Gon would have definitely made a change. I mean, if Dave is that explicit about this moment being so important, that definitely shows what power Qui-Gon could have had on like the happenings of the galaxy. I do also have some stuff on the side. So I have some stuff from Qui-Gon from the Jedi book and the 2002 lineup of the Jedi Padawan series. So like these books, they're like
Nice.
5, and I can definitely give you some stuff and story about what happened there. So I'm really excited to get talking about Qui-Gon, and I'll let Blue continue.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
well, you've both covered basically everything I was going to say, like what was Qui-Gon
And
to?
stream.
And the stream.
He was a
Good
cool
stream.
guy.
All right.
Yeah, but what stands out to Qui-Gon to me, he looks like my dad. Looked like my dad. And so I always thought of that. I was like, oh, it's cool, it's my dad in Star Wars. And then how he acted was like my dad. My dad was like more of a neutral Jedi. He always told me, don't listen to the Jedi Council. But me being a kid was like, yes, but they're so cool. Look at them all with their lightsabers. I want to be one. And then, like Strike said, as a kid, you don't really look into his significance until you get older. And then when I learned all about him and the other Padawans he had before Obi-Wan, it's like Qui-Gon is a very unique character. And you see, once you look into his lore, why the way he is in Phantom Menace, why he's like, I'll do what I must, Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm.
And it speaks home for a very true, I'm not going to say grey Jedi, he's a Knight of the Force, because I don't class him as a Jedi anymore.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, and that's really cool even to hear like the, like why Qui-Gon's connected with you on such a personal level. That's pretty cool too. Yeah, because there's a lot of great stuff, and let's hit some of these comments, and we're gonna start the deep dive. We're gonna start it.
Ooh.
I love. I think I pulled it up. I love Fulcrum's question. What was Qui-Gon's favorite number? I've always wondered that. We're gonna try. Probably never cover that, but we'll try. What's up, Daryl? How's it going, man?
Daryl, what's going on,
How's it
bro?
going? I was about to say what's up, Strike, but yeah, you're already here. Iro, is that how I say that? What's up, Mr. Wise?
Iro. Yep.
What's up, Leia?
Hey, what's up, Leah?
Fulcrum, how are you and how's the missus? We're good. I left for a second because we have a heater on, and apparently the little boy touched the heater, and burned his little hand.
Ow.
So I got him.
Hey, did
You raising
you
a
show
little
him Revenge
Anakin?
of the Sith? That's
Are
really
you raising a little Anakin?
I know. Show him Mustafar and be like, "This is why you stay away from hot things."
This is what you don't go to.
Yeah.
No touchy of the hot stuff.
Hello, Mr. Lucas himself.
Hey, George Lucas, what's up?
Weavin, how's it going, man? How's
Oh
it
no,
going?
Weaver.
T. Davidson,
Hey.
how's it going, man? From the future.
What
How
up, Davidson?
is it going? Oh, interesting. Is this like confirmed or is it a theory? Yoda uses the robes of Qui-Gon as a blanket at Dagobah.
Didn't they burn his body with
Yeah.
his clothes on?
Well,
Well,
they
wait,
burned
there-
him
You
with
didn't see the robes.
tunica, but the robes, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I
'cause
think
he
I
dropped the
just
robes.
saw a thing today that was like the last time we saw Qui-Gon's robes was actually on Padme's ship. I don't know if that's
No,
accurate.
you
I'd
don't
have
No,
to,
he
like,
dropped
rewatch.
he dropped them when the fight before Maul.
Yeah,
because him and
yeah.
everyone
Oh,
took
yeah.
the robes off and just left them there.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
you know what's interesting? Because I had like before we started this whole stream, me and Aiden actually watched the extras for Phantom Menace on Disney Plus because they like uploaded all the
Oh, nice.
deleted
All the
scenes
deleted
and stuff.
scenes.
I need to
And I
watch it.
noticed that Qui-Gon is also a Jedi that had very dark robes. So I'm kind of wondering because Anakin had like the same shade. Did Anakin just like use Qui-Gon's?
Okay, well, here's the thing. I think Anakin definitely took inspiration from Qui-Gon. Just think about it. Qui-Gon had long hair. Anakin grew out his long hair. Anakin wore dark robes. Qui-Gon did wear darker robes. I mean,
Yeah.
Anakin went full black. I mean, he really just was like, no, I don't want to wear what the Jedi wear. I want to be myself. I think black just looks cooler. And I think he went with the right choice because those his robes protected him on Mustafar from the sparks. And I just want to go back to Fulcrum's curiosity of Qui-Gon's favorite number, because for today, Qui-Gon's favorite number is 2,500. Shout out to you, two Star Wars nerds. This video.
That's awesome. We should clip that, send it to Disney. It's official.
There you
Please
go.
make this canon. Oh,
It's his favorite number.
that's so funny, man. Cool. Well, let's go back in Qui-Gon's life, and obviously he's born on Coruscant, and all of this stuff happens. We can dig deeper into that, but if there's anything you guys would want to cover before this, feel free to step in. But I think what's really interesting is how he is Dooku, like before Count Dooku is Count Dooku. He is Dooku's Padawan. I just find that very fascinating because, just that expanded universe, just digging deeper into that, it's, I don't know. For me, it's Dooku is one who's always made me very curious and interested me a lot. And so for him to like really have Qui-Gon as his Padawan, man, like, I don't know, that there's just so much there to unpack.
So badass.
Mm-hmm.
I before you started the stream, I was like refreshing my mind on Qui-Gon, and I found you look at Qui-Gon, well, from the legend standpoint, the dude is his story really does kind of follow a similar path to that of Anakin's, but Qui-Gon's is able to overcome his demons and stay part of the light side of the Force and just become a stronger Jedi because of it. And that's because Anakin was taught by Obi-Wan, who is very like, nah, we got to listen to the council. That's who's in charge. They understand what's up. Whereas Qui-Gon, it always surprised me why Obi-Wan was like that, because he was trained by Qui-Gon, who was always like, no, the council isn't always right. I don't want to be on the council. I want to do my own thing. I want to follow the Force, because that is the whole point of the Jedi. I think that with us getting involved in politics is not the way to go, because that clouds our judgment. And I think that the will of the Force is what will lead us to ultimate like peace and serenity. And that's why he followed the Force and wasn't afraid to use darker emotions, sort of like Mace Windu, but not as extreme. But he wasn't afraid to explore multiple aspects, not just the light side. And I feel like, because I know, well, I don't know if we're going to get into this later, so I don't want to like bring everything up that I thought of, but yeah, I'll save the rest for later.
Cool. People are digging it, man.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting is when you look at, even when you're talking about that, when you look at how Dooku trained, well, even there's a whole thing as a tangent, I suppose. Dooku wanted Qui-Gon to just stay as his Padawan. He really wanted that power and that control there, that influence. And so even by when the time Qui-Gon becomes a knight, they part. And what I find interesting about Dooku is his was very, like, he just had a very intense and almost dark way of training his Padawans.
Yes.
And so then when you see Qui-Gon saying, like, you know, I actually want to train my Padawans completely differently. And so you see him go, like, intentionally, almost like, you know, how, like, when we're raised by our parents, we're like, we're going to, you know, I'm going to do everything that they didn't do. If there's stuff we didn't agree with, like, that was kind of that stance of Qui-Gon. And yeah, there's other interesting things I'll bring up, but yeah,
for sure. I have a really good quote for that, because he actually notes that in the book of the Jedi, and he basically makes a comment to his training with Dooku, and he's like, and he quotes, I quote, Master Dooku is an intimidating mentor. I won't do it like that. So it's like a really clear statement of how I was trained. I'm not going to do it the same way. And yeah, so definitely a different path that he chose for his apprentices.
Do you guys, I actually don't know this, do you think that what you see in the Clone Wars with Dooku training like Savage and just how brutal that was, do you think that that's like an amplified version of how he would have been? Maybe obviously not physical abuse, but do you think that's like just amplified from how he was with Qui-Gon?
Oh yeah, no hesitation, 100%. That seems like what he saw. As you said, I don't imagine being like so hands-on like he was with Savage. Like Savage failed Force.
He was the hands-on Jedi Master.
Yeah, I imagine he'd be more, if you fail, I'm going to make you do it again and again and again until you do it, and you're not going to rest, sleep, or eat. Like,
I feel like he wanted
drain
to
them
push the
mentally.
boundaries of his apprentice.
Yes,
he
and
wanted
also
to keep. Sorry.
No, you continue. I cut you off.
I feel like looking at Dooku from a master standpoint, it was more like, I want you to be the best version of you that you can be. So we're not going to stop doing this until I feel that you are at your best. Not perfection, but your personal best. I'm not looking for absolute masterful perfection. I am looking for you to do your absolute best and then do better.
And
I'm not saying perfection, but yeah, that's it.
And also, I think Dooku had, like in general, had a very high opinion of himself and his capabilities. So I could definitely see him, like, especially when it comes to dueling and training. I think he would be that sort of very direct or like sarcastic, like, oh, that form is sloppy, like just right off the bat, like, you're not doing it right. Like, we're gonna do it right, and I'm gonna let you feel that you're doing it right, doing it wrong. So you're doing it right then. But yeah, I think that is definitely a trait that Dooku probably had just from the beginning on.
Definitely.
Yeah, and that even if you just look at their forms, that would make a lot of sense because like how smooth and how precise Dooku is with his lightsaber versus Form 4 with Qui-Gon. It's like I could definitely see how Qui-Gon is just like, I mean, even his name, like somebody who was gonna join us but couldn't, sent me this whole like awesome list of things. It was actually Christopher, but he sent me all of this stuff, and this is something that I actually didn't know. But even just looking at like his name, just Qui-Gon Jinn, it's derived from the Chinese Qui-Gong, which means a life force, and the
Yes.
Arabic Jinn, which means like genie or tutelary spirit. So literally, kind of when you translate it, Qui-Gon Jinn means spirit of the living force. And so
Yes, I knew
I
this. This is what. Damn
dude,
you,
it's so
whoever you
cool.
are. You stole the thing I was going to say later.
He's throwing his stuff down. He's splashing his tea against the wall.
I'm actually making a cup of tea. That's why I'm so quiet, because I'm so scared I'll have the mic on and that you just hear this kettle in the background.
You're like,
That's funny. But I mean, I think that's right on. Just even from the inception, the two are very different. I would say Dooku is more about order and
it also
control.
suits him in the sense of he taught Yoda how to communicate with a Force ghost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%, dude. I just want to say what's up to Timothy really quick. Remember when when you said I would hit 1K before 600, you finally hit 600. Awesome, man. Congratulations on 600, dude.
Congrats.
Keep doing what you're doing. Keep plugging away.
keep showing that beautiful mustache.
Let's see what Mr. Weiss says. I believe the last straw that drove Dooku to separate from the Jedi was the death of Qui-Gon, solidifying his belief that the Council was doing things wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that. I don't know that like for a fact, but I can see the logic behind it for sure.
Yeah, and I do think that when he talks about Qui-Gon in Attack of the Clones, that he's not playing those feelings. I do
No, he
think that,
genuinely had a love
that
for his
Dooku was
apprentice.
honest when he said, "I wish he was still alive. I could use his help." I'm pretty sure that was him being honest, because he did have, even though, as Qui-Gon said, he was a very harsh mentor, he did love Qui-Gon as his apprentice.
Yes.
He cared for him. He really. That's why he probably pushed him so hard. He's like, I want my apprentice to be the best he can be. I don't want anything but that.
And he was very proud of
Mhm.
Qui-Gon, that he was not just following the council's
followed the
sayings, and
Force.
and so to speak, that he had his own mind, and he did like, no, I think that is wrong, and we should.
That's
do it
stupid.
differently."
Why are we doing that? When we can
And
do
Yeah, I
this?
agree.
he thought very highly of Qui-Gon because of that. Sorry.
He was a free thinker. He didn't
Yeah.
abide by the council when he thought it was wrong.
And that's why I think he was trying to get Obi-Wan's help, because Qui-Gon saw something in Obi-Wan no one else did, and Dooku knew that. That's as you said, right? When he's saying, "No, I need Qui-Gon's help," that's why I think he's being genuine with Obi-Wan, asking for his help, because he's lost. Like, he's going down a path he didn't think he'd go on.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I do think so too.
In the Revenge of the Sith novelization, I remember the original in the book, Palpatine and Dooku's original plan aboard the Invisible Hand was to basically have Dooku kill Obi-Wan so Anakin would turn to the dark side, and then Anakin, Dooku would allow Anakin to beat him, but Palpatine would make sure, or told him that he would make sure nothing would happen to him, and then they were going to create their own sort of Sith empire. But Qui-Gon, when Palpatine told Dooku this, he was like, I don't want to kill Obi-Wan. I see him as like a grandson. He was Qui-Gon's apprentice, and I think we could make some good use of him, honestly. Like, why do we have to kill him? And then Palpatine's like, are you kidding me? You're going to question me? I'm Darth Sidious. Just do what I tell you.
Mhm.
Don't question me. He's got to go.
You might be older, but I am the master.
Yeah, and for sure, because like also in Attack of the Clones, the way Dooku interacts with Obi-Wan does sort of seem very harsh in the sense. So I don't think that they have met too many times. Or I don't even know how to explain it, but
No,
Obi-Wan
they didn't
seems very straightforward in just saying, "Oh, you're the evil one," but Dooku's sort of more of, "Oh, that like my grandson doesn't know everything, and I'm gonna tell him, and then he's gonna probably join me," you know. I think it does feel like that kind of. I think.
I agree.
Yeah, and it's so interesting, seeing the interplaying relationship between Dooku and Qui-Gon. And I know, like, a big thing that Dooku even said is Qui-Gon's biggest flaw. It was his like trust and affection for everyone else, and it's just so crazy. And that sound tells me something. You got something sweet for us. But yeah, it plays in, and I know in a moment Blue even has something about really Qui-Gon's Padawans before we get to Obi. But what's running through your mind, Strike?
Oh, dude, you just said something that I have the perfect quote on again. Also, but out of this, by the way, I know this one, like, this is the German version, so that's why it says Buch, not book. But I know there's the English version. Honestly, if you're a Star Wars fan, get it, because it is amazing. Like, you have the lightsaber forms, you have comments of like the main Jedi, of like pretty much each time. So you have Yoda, Qui-Gon, Anakin, Obi-Wan, Luke. But the quote that I think works perfectly here is a quote from Qui-Gon. "I think that the living force is the essence of the existence for the Jedi. Despite Master Dooku's warning, I just have to help others, even if it harms me."
Yeah.
So Qui-Gon really was that
Hold up.
type of Jedi that was, he just believed in that the Jedi have the responsibility to help anyone and everyone.
That
I'll do what I must, Obi-Wan.
that quote right there, that just made me think of something. I know how I mentioned earlier that Qui-Gon and Anakin have a lot of parallels in life. Well, I feel like that's a big one because, in Attack of the Clones, Anakin went off to save his mother because he thought that was right. He knew he shouldn't, or he knew he wasn't allowed to, but he was like, no, it's my mom. Why wouldn't I? I'm going. I don't care if I'm supposed to stay on Naboo. I'm going to Tatooine.
Yeah,
And
I have to
Padme was
jump
like,
in after. My bad.
"Oh no, you good, bro." And Padme was like, "Okay, I'll go with you, sure." But Qui-Gon was the same way. He always was like, "I'm not going to put the politics of the council over someone's life. I'm going to go save someone's life, even if it dictates the council's wishes."
Yes. And that's exactly what I was going to say, in the sense of... Oh god, I forgot. Why Qui-Gon would be the perfect master for Anakin? Because he would have took Anakin to save his mother, I think. Whether Obi-Wan was like, forget about it, Qui-Gon would be like, let's go sort this issue out, sort your attachment out, make sure she's safe, and then you can leave and focus on being a Jedi.
Yeah, I think we should definitely go back to the whole Qui-Gon and Anakin thing in full detail, because I do have something pulled up. But I think
go for it.
Go for it right now. All right,
Sure,
I'll go for it. So again, a quote out of. It's such a beautiful. Like,
This
I
video
have
is
this
not
thing.
sponsored by the Jedi, by Path of the Jedi.
The Jedi did not pay me to show you that. All right.
Like, let's go to commercial break right now.
For legal
Didn't
reasons, it's not
mention
sponsored by Path of the Jedi.
No, but but basically, what he said, what I think makes it even cooler, or I don't know, more frustrating, heartbroken that Qui-Gon died, because one of his quotes is, "When the living force causes compassion, possibly even love, then I don't think that these can do any harm, no matter what the code says."
No.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
I 100% agree, and I'm going to steal that quote.
Yeah.
Please
Well,
do.
what's even crazy is, I mean, just this whole parallel between Qui-Gon and Anakin. I think a huge difference maybe in the leading, because Anakin really is just raised under Obi-Wan. I mean, there's a small but major influence that Qui-Gon had on Anakin's life, but Qui-Gon being trained and raised by Dooku, not raised, but trained and raised in the Jedi ways, I suppose, by Dooku. Dooku would keep telling him that you're just going to be alone. That, and that was part of that whole thing, is that Dooku wanted that detachment from others, and his view of the Force was quite different. But I think it's so right on when we're talking about Qui-Gon and Anakin. I personally think that Qui-Gon would be the best master for Anakin. I think the likelihood of Anakin falling to the dark side would be very slim under Qui-Gon. I don't think that they would necessarily. I don't think that he would necessarily be like in the Jedi Order and doing all of that. Maybe they would do something different, but I just don't know if I would see that under Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon had someone that he fell in love with, a Jedi, and so I feel like if he were Anakin's master, and I feel like Anakin would have been confident enough to go tell him about his relationship with Padme and his nightmares. And I feel like he would have told him about his relationship with Padme like right after they got married. To be completely honest, I feel like he would have known for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like when Anakin would tell him about his nightmares, Qui-Gon would not be like, okay, well, you just have to deal with it. I don't know what to tell you. You should celebrate when she dies because she's going to be one with the Force. Yeah. No, I feel like he would have been like, okay, we're gonna fix this. We're gonna help you, but just know that these visions can be deceiving, because I feel like he would have talked logic into Anakin, or because like if Anakin went to him and told him about what Palpatine was telling him, I feel like Qui-Gon would have been like, yo, hold up, you're telling me that this guy, that this random dude out of nowhere is telling you about Sith Lords and how they were able to achieve immortality or save others from death? You're telling me this he just so he just so conveniently happens to tell you this when you're in this existential crisis. Do you even realize that, like, we're on Coruscant? This planet is the most advanced planet with the most advanced medical technology in the galaxy. Like, I think you're good, bro. Just I'd watch out for Sheev. I wouldn't trust dude's name Sheev,
That's another thing as well. I don't think Anakin would have been as close with Palpatine if Qui-Gon was alive, because Qui-Gon would have kept him away from politics.
Well, Anakin became so close with Palpatine because Anakin would always get so frustrated with the Jedi, and Palpatine would be like, "Oh no, come on, come hang with me."
Come on, you can talk to me.
Yeah,
come on, let's have a cup of tea.
I feel like would be equally as frustrated with Anakin about the Jedi. So he'd just be like, "Look, the Council's wrong. They're just wrong. I don't know what to tell you. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do it this way, and if the Council doesn't agree with it, then we'll figure something else out." I feel like he was open-minded to the Force and wanted to explore every aspect. He wanted to he was a gray Jedi, essentially. Not
Sorry,
Untitled, by the way.
Timothy was asking.
Yeah, for context, it was Strike is at a painting of a land speeder, and then there was this whole conversation that starts going from that.
Yeah, so
I
it's
can't
the
see.
malevolence. It's not
Strike-
land speeder.
Strike's just like, okay, 40 minutes in, here's this Lego set.
All right, now.
Another 20 minutes later, here's
now,
this other Lego
we're
set.
sponsored by Lego.
Ah,
my
Boba Fett
God.
Starship.
No, we don't call it that here.
Firestar, whatever it's called.
Hey, well, I see,
Huh.
and maybe it's a little early for this, but you know what? Why not do this? Timothy said, "Hey, panel, have you guys read Master and Apprentice? If so, how did that book change how you viewed Qui-Gon?" And I saw Paul. What's up, Paul? Paul even said in the chat, "Master and Apprentice showed me more of why Qui-Gon was one of a kind."
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw you actually talked about the novelization of Episode 1 as well. Awesome. Very
Nice.
cool. Very cool to see that. But yeah, and then he even goes on to say, Paul again, and I know some others that are not on the stream that are big fans of this book, that aren't even particularly fans of like Disney, but it's new, just a couple years
yeah.
old.
I'm happy to hear that it's good because I have not read it. I've
Me neither.
I've read the Jedi Padawan books, so the 5 like 5 books, and they
Mhm.
were amazing, but and they were still from the George Lucas era. So I don't know
Golden
if
Age.
that is still considered canon. Probably not, but they were
No.
still really good.
There might be some that works in canon, but yeah, none of it. It was all axed.
Yeah.
But I have yet to like read it in full. I've read like the Cliff Notes summary version. We even have like a it's this really awesome book. We'll do a giveaway in a second, but there's this really awesome book that covers, it's literally like all pre-Disney Star Wars books and comics in this thick book, and each one is like summarized, so you can literally just like,
Ooh. Okay.
some books it takes a couple minutes, some it's really quick, but you can get like a full outline of everything.
Nice.
Is it possible to purchase this book?
Yes,
It's possible
it
to
is.
learn
Not
these powers
from a Jedi.
Is it possible to learn this knowledge?
only from a nerd.
Let me let me pull it up for you guys. Okay, here it is. Oh gosh, why does it say? Okay, let me pull this up so you guys can see us. This book is sweet. I highly encourage you to get this. Okay, here we go. Let me share this, and then we're gonna do a giveaway for you guys here. Here we go. Okay, so this right here, you guys are seeing it? Okay,
Ooh, okay.
sweet.
The Essential
So-
Alice is a pretty cool book. Just gotta shout that one out.
Oh yeah, yes. But yeah, the Essential Reader's Companion. Say what you will, we're not endorsing him necessarily, but it is by Pablo Hidalgo. But it's 2012. So if you want it paperback, I will say it is very expensive. We saved up and we purchased paperback. But yeah, if you actually
Nice.
look in this thing, let me see if I can find like how much. Gosh, I don't even know if I'm going to get to like the actual stuff. But well, here we go. So it like, if
Sure,
for
it's the
instance,
meat
if you start
potatoes.
getting into like one of these, it goes into like, where is it in the timeline, what worlds are visited, what characters, what's the
Awesome.
summary. So dude, it goes into everything. So
That's great.
So it's just like a gateway into all the books.
yeah, exactly. And then some of the books can be really hard to find in comics, so you can get a gist of what's going on without having to spend hundreds of dollars, to track down
Right.
some old obscure book.
Like you won't know all the details, but you'll know enough to be part of the conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
And hey, right before our giveaway, I don't think anyone here is going to argue with this. Qui-Gon is more of a Skywalker than Rey. You cannot change my mind.
Right on the money.
Yeah, I don't know who
Yeah,
Rey
yeah.
is actually.
I'm no comment.
Yeah, exactly. It's not worth talking about.
Yeah, that
Just
was
not.
enough. Yeah, you want to read
Ooh,
Labyrinth of Evil?
yes. Do.
Yeah.
Please do. Labyrinth
Yes.
of Evil is probably
Perfection.
I want to say my favorite like trilogy
Can
of
I say
or
something
like
that I'm probably going to get slated for? I've never actually really read a Star Wars book
Oh, that's all
That's
right,
fine.
dude.
because my dad was the Star Wars book. He
Yeah,
had
I get it.
like 50 plus Star Wars books, so if I wanted to know anything, I just go to him. So I'm going to purchase Labyrinth of Evil when I can
yes.
There
because
you
Get
go.
the
everyone
whole
keeps being on.
trilogy.
It's like
Labyrinth of
you
Evil,
need to
Yes.
read it.
Revenge of the Sith, and The Dark Lord, The Rise of Darth Vader.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my
Yeah.
favorite Star Wars books, and any sort of Star Wars thing. Well, that and Darth Plagueis.
Yeah.
Darth Plagueis was really good
Yeah.
too.
It
And
reads
that's another
so.
one. And Lords of the Sith about Palpatine and Vader. I've been told that
Yep.
one as well.
That
Yes.
one was
Really
really
good
good.
book.
Hell, even the Force Unleashed book is really good. If you want to learn,
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
if you want to dive really into the Force Unleashed, and because that book
Oh yes.
really just gives like it makes the game it makes the game a lot more enjoyable because like you get to learn about the whole backstory because like I'm not gonna this video's
All right, this
not
is a
about the
Qui-Gon
Force
stream.
Unleashed. Yeah, this is about
Yeah.
Qui-Gon. I shouldn't be talking about Force Unleashed, but go check it out. It's a really good book.
Well, let me show you something just really quick. This is a really good way you can get some books on the cheap. Let me show you this. Okay.
Just
So
download
I-
Let's go.
I love books. I seriously do. Let me see, Paul. I saw you said you just
Yes. Oh
started
no, I'm
reading them
sorry.
this year. You're 12
You
books
said
deep.
that like twice earlier, Paul, and that's my name. So anytime you were saying it, I was like,
Oh.
like he's not talking to me. He doesn't know my name.
That's
So he says it, I was
funny.
like, yes.
The Living Force told me.
I
You're
Yeah.
12 books deep, dude. That's awesome.
wish I was 12 books deep.
100%. We can all recommend Labyrinth of Evil.
I just spat
But-
my drink everywhere.
That's awesome. But seriously, do this, and there's probably better ways to do it. But legit, go onto eBay and just do Star Wars book lot, and I do this right here. I just go ending soonest, and so I'm just gonna get because I don't want to have to wait. So like for instance, I probably would skip that, but like right here, look at this, $9.79, dude. So you have Dark Lord right there. You have a Timothy Zahn. It's not like one of his big ones, and a Legacy of the Force. $9.
Ooh.
I mean, it's not like. I just realized you guys didn't see when I clicked into it, but anyway, you can get like even this like $35. I see some good ones in there.
Nice.
So that's a good way for you because there's so much. You can just
Yeah.
like start buying in bulk, basically.
Right. And I
hell
just saw like even if some of the books aren't like quite your interest, but like one I saw for like $10, and I definitely saw like 3 books that are definitely worth it.
Hmm.
And I mean $10, that's what like books probably sold when released on their own. So I mean that's definitely a good deal.
Yeah, and then maybe you can find like there's a local bookstore here where they will buy back used books. It's super cheap, but if you buy books that you're like, I don't care about, sell them back and get credit or something. But anyway,
Hell yeah.
here's what we can do. Talking about books, we're gonna be doing a giveaway for 2 books. We're actually gonna be giving away Master and Apprentice, and we're going to be giving away Cloak of Deception as well. Master and Apprentice is 2019, and that one is focusing on Qui-Gon, pretty much in particular, and Obi-Wan. Or Cloak of Deception, that's
wanted.
earlier, maybe
I have no idea.
2002.
Oh, 2000. Yeah.
There might be, but that
Could
one's
be.
about it. There's a lot about Chancellor Valorum in there, but it's episode 1. Like pre-episode 1 time frame, and there's a lot of Qui-Gon in there, and it's really good. But for you guys to enter, do this. Type Force into the chat, and this is going to let good old Nightbot here find you. So go ahead, type in Force so we can make sure that you get entered for this. Yep, already got some people popping up. Yeah, Padawannabe says
I
Cloak
can't
of
do it. No, I can't win. Someone type for me.
I'll give you my book if I win.
Oh,
Yay!
But yeah, let me okay. Sometimes it's type sensitive, but Paul, yours did come through. Paul Castro, yours came through. But yeah, Padawannabe says Cloak of Deception leads into episode 1.
Ah, sick.
Kind of like
So
how Labyrinth of Evil leads
I was
into
about to
Revenge of the
say,
Sith.
kind of, yeah, how it
$6
leads into
for
episode
Labyrinth of
3.
Evil.
$6. That's great.
Hello, Alan Copeland. How's it
Hey,
going,
what's
man?
up?
How is it going? But yeah, these are both, like, in my opinion, they're really good books because there's a whole lot about Qui-Gon. There's some Dark Horse comics. There is a lot of like scholastic young adult stuff. And Strike, you were even bringing up like the Jedi Apprentice books, all that stuff. So there's a lot of cool stuff there.
Hmm.
But I think these two are pretty great.
Right, and even if the books aren't canon anymore, like the Jedi Apprentice ones, like there's still like, I mean, the character design and development that you see in there. I mean, that's not that doesn't change. I mean, the people that wrote it back then had the same idea of the character than the people writing it now. So
Yep.
it's still no loss if you buy one of the non-canon books. I mean, canon is headcanon, so don't even care about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Cooper, I see you asked, is it in digital or physical form? I was gonna send out physical, but if you'd prefer digital, hey, we can make that work. Found out with somebody, I don't remember, somebody overseas won stuff, and we found out we can ship stuff really easy overseas on the cheap, as opposed to some other ways. Okay, well, here we go. Let's do this roll. You know what? Make sure everybody is all right. Cooper's in. Let's do the roll, the giveaway here, so we can see who the winner is. Here we go. Oh my gosh. Guess who won? Cooper, you actually won. Entered at the last minute. That's so awesome, man.
You can't
That's
see
so-
me, but I'm also
Congrats,
clapping.
dude.
That's so awesome. And forgive me if you already are, but Cooper, if you are not in the Discord, make sure that you follow that link in the description so you can get the link into Discord. Pop in there and get me your information so we can make sure we send that over to you. Yeah, congrats. If you don't know what Discord is and you don't want to use it, you can actually send us an email if you know how to find that. If not, we'll help you out. Anyways, congrats, man. Yeah, super cool. yeah, you won. Well, Blue, let's do this before, because I see some Phantom Menace talk here. That was pretty cool. Because even Paul said, I'm going to be honest, Phantom Menace is now my favorite Star Wars movie. That's really cool, man. I love the
Sweet,
Phantom
definitely
Menace.
up there.
Yes, sir.
Underrated.
Underrated for
I
sure.
prefer it to episode 2, which is not a popular opinion, but Phantom Menace just grew on me more and more.
Yeah,
Phantom Menace
I mean,
is just
I love the Phantom Menace, but in terms of prequels, nothing can touch Revenge for me.
Revenge of the Sith extended cut is amazing.
Is that the
the
you guys
best
talking
Star
about
Wars
the
thing
four,
ever?
4.5 hour one? Yeah,
I have the link if anyone would like it.
me too, man.
It's such, like, honestly, I know it's
What's up, man?
Commander.
I know it has nothing to do with Qui-Gon, but like it's the best Star
Commander.
Wars watch you'll ever have.
Yeah, hold up, should I send you my Discord? I mean, what would be easiest is if
I'm a
you
mod, so I
pop
can
in,
join the Discord.
or if you just
Yeah.
pop into ours, you don't even have to stay. It's not going to offend me. If you just pop in to find me, and send me a message and leave, that's going to be
It's
the
like
best
coming
way.
in.
He's going to be very offended.
And I'm out of here.
I'm going to get my stuff and dip out.
Man, X-Wing, you missed the giveaway by a few minutes. That would have been awesome if you won. Pop in, win, leave. See you guys. But okay, so
before we to win.
Before we get
Sorry.
into Phantom Menace, and really getting into that, let's Blue, why don't you take it talking about if you guys didn't know, talking about Qui-Gon's other Padawans. So
Yes.
go into it, man.
Yes, I did quite a bit of a deep dive, probably about an hour before, and I was like, oh, I need to refresh. But he had two. Sorry for the butchering of the names, but one is called Femor, and he actually rose up and became a Jedi Master. And the other one was called, I think it's Xanatos, because I've got the spelling in front of me, but if I'm pronouncing that, please call me out on it.
Sounds right to me.
But Xanatos is actually the one I want to focus on, because Femor, there wasn't much, because he very much just became an accomplished Jedi. Learned quickly, moved up. But Xanatos actually fell to the dark side. And I looked into part of the reasoning why was Yoda sent him and Qui-Gon on a final mission, for their trials as Padawan and Master. But the mission was to stop this guy who took over a planet. But the guy who took over the planet was Xanatos' father. And Yoda knew this and didn't tell them. So when they finally got there, and Xanatos saw his father said, join me, and kept getting on at him. And eventually he did. And him and Qui-Gon fought, and Qui-Gon fled. And so Xanatos joined the dark side. But before Qui-Gon fled, Qui-Gon killed his father in front of him. But it was an accident. He knocked him back, and his father fell into a fire pit.
That sucks.
And so Xanatos watched his master kill his father.
I'm sure
And
that
I was
didn't
just
help
like,
matters.
ooh. Yes. And
How do you accidentally push someone into a fire pit?
by accident, I love the quotes. I was
Just uses the force to nudge him off his feet.
Exactly. And I was like, but then I thought about it, because it could just be a misstep. Just like you see in Star Wars, Disney, they misstep and then they fall to their death. I'm like, yeah, of course they misstepped.
Yeah. So you're on you're like on a huge platform with no railings. You just happen to like misstep and fall to your death.
Sounds like classic Star Wars to me.
Yeah, and
I didn't know
I
that
can't
he was a
remember the
stormtrooper.
planet, but Obi-Wan was sent to a mining planet because he was failing as a Padawan. But Xanatos had set a trap for Qui-Gon on this planet. And this is initially... Yep. And this is initially what fully made Qui-Gon take Obi-Wan as an apprentice, because they had to survive together in this trap.
Mm-hmm.
And they did successfully and fled, but they didn't stop him. But I thought that was really cool, because just to throw back to Obi-Wan being Qui-Gon's Padawan, Qui-Gon, when I forgot what the Jedi call it, but basically they make the Padawans duel each other, and I didn't know this. I was like, okay, the Jedi do this to like show off their talent. And Obi-Wan was fighting, I forgot the Jedi's name, but he was fighting one of the top students, and he was just literally going off his energy. And towards the end, he acted out in anger and won. And Qui-Gon went, I'm not taking him on. He's too dark side, and he left.
Right.
And what's even so interesting is that's how that same dude, I'm totally drawing a blank on what that practice is actually called, but that's how Qui-Gon was picked up by Dooku, because what was it? Qui-Gon was fighting Tala. Is that who it was?
Tall?
I think so.
Tall, yeah.
Yeah.
That was his girlfriend.
And that's where Dooku, like seeing his victory, that's where Dooku is like, okay, I want him. So then it's just so interesting, and I love that you even brought up his first Padawans, just because I think everything that Qui-Gon was going through with Dooku and with his Padawans, like I think that just pushed him further into trusting the living force, and what you really see in the Phantom Menace,
Yes.
seeing this play out, because he's like, I'm not going to do things the way Dooku did it. And then he had success with one Padawan, then he had massive failure, you could say, with another.
Yep.
And so by the time he took on Obi, and even where Chancellor Valorum put them, with the Trade Federation, it's very interesting just to see, like, it just seems so natural, the progression of how he ended up where he did.
Right, and
Yeah.
I also have a part from the book that I wrote down that also plays into it, what I thought really translates well into how he acts in Phantom Menace, because he always seems to be aware of when there's danger and when there's not. So the passage of that he commented on was, "The Force will reveal itself, letting you see." I can't even read my own right. Letting you see the Force signature of an area and show you whether everything is in order or if there is danger. And Qui-Gon basically commented that he trained this power or this ability. So he just trained to be aware of danger.
And I want to throw something else in. There's a similarity between Xanatos and Anakin. Xanatos was not of age to be taken into the Order. And Yoda told Qui-Gon he will fall to the dark side. If you train him, he will fall. And he did. And I think Ash told you, Strike, on how he died. How Xanatos died, and what it is, the Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon had a few conflicts with him. But in the final one, Qui-Gon told Xanatos that Yoda told me you will fall to the dark side. And I should have listened. He was right. So when Xanatos was defeated by both Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, he was like, no, I'm not going to let them win. I'm not going to let Qui-Gon kill me or redeem me. So he took his own life. So Qui-Gon would have to live with the failure of his second Padawan fell to the dark side, and he couldn't do anything to stop it.
What an asshole.
Yeah. But also a complete badass to fight both Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon for a few conflicts and, keep getting away and surviving. Just shows also how well Qui-Gon was as a teacher.
Oh, yeah, man. And, I'm pulling up a picture. This is actually the cover of one of the books. I'm pulling up a picture of Xanatos.
It's suddenly so quiet that I muted.
I know. There was that, like...
I was like, is my audio, like, did it die?
Dude, I thought the same thing. I was like, I'm just gonna talk like it's normal, and let's see. But this is Qui-Gon and Xanatos here, so yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, and
he was very aggressive.
Yeah, and dude, seriously, thanks for bringing all that up too, because that's such like it's such an interesting point, and it looks so much at tragedy, and I love that parallel between Xanatos and Anakin.
Yeah.
I think the moral of the story is, like, listen to Yoda, because he keeps repeating himself.
Yeah, but I think for the second time when Yoda told him, Qui-Gon knew Anakin was the chosen one and that he wouldn't make the same mistake. And that's why I thought, when I listened to all that and you go back to the council scene, whereas, like, I'll take him on as my, student then, even though he knows he can't have two. That's how determined he is that he will not fail again, that this will happen. Yeah,
and this is interesting with X-Wing, and I think he made a short about this too, which is really cool. He said if Dooku hadn't been so obsessed with prophecy and instilled that into Qui-Gon, he would have never picked up Anakin. Fool killed himself. Yeah, and that very thing too is that drive of Dooku led Qui-Gon to picking up Anakin. And one critique I've heard of the prequels, and I don't agree with it at all, but one critique I've heard is where people said if everything feels not like forced, but almost like canned to the OT, right? Where the OT felt a little more like just
Free
kind of
flow.
like, yeah, and it felt like, okay, all of this stuff had to happen. And it's like all of these like, oh my gosh, look at the coincidences that had to happen, right? But I think in the Phantom Menace, you see this whole idea by George Lucas with the living force and being guided by the force almost in full swing with Qui-Gon, because, you know, Chancellor Valorum puts him and Obi really as delegates, so to speak, for the Trade Federation. And that's how they end up over Naboo. And that's why they go down and they connect with Gungans, and like all of this stuff ends up happening to where they end up in Tatooine. And that very thing where it's like all of this obsession with prophecy and the Force and the Chosen One, all of this, it all leads to like right there. And I just think that's so cool about Qui-Gon.
Yeah,
I
and
agree.
for sure. And also about your comment that some people are critiquing that it feels canned. I really don't think it is, because like standalone, the alternate reality of Qui-Gon living or dying, like that alone is like a part of the story that makes it not canned into just one dimension.
Yeah.
Because if it would have been canned, it would have just been Obi-Wan is Anakin's master from the start, as it is said in A New Hope. But because we now have this third person, Qui-Gon, it is now not canned. Like, it could have gone in a totally different direction.
Oh yeah.
So
I
think that's why
agree.
the prequels are totally genius in the way they worked as prequels.
I have two things to say on that. One is the Qui-Gon thing is Duel of Fates. Everyone's like, oh, it's all about Darth Maul. It's not. It's about Anakin and the fate of his father figure, Obi-Wan or Qui-Gon. And that's why it's called Duel of the Fates. And Dave Filoni mentioned that, and I think it was in the Mando Galleries. And when I heard that, I just put my hands up, I surrendered, and I was like, you are the chosen one, Dave Filoni. You are the Padawan to George Lucas. And the other thing is, I can see why they think it's canned, and I have a reason for this. Anakin felt too much like Vader. Like, I know they wanted him to be on the similar lines and be a bit robotish, but if you go and watch Anakin in the Clone Wars, the TV show, he's so much more full of life. So when he becomes Vader, it feels like more Vader is separated from Anakin. But in episode like 2 and 3, I can see Vader already. And to me, in episode 2, I shouldn't see Vader yet until after his mother dies, and then it's a slow descent. But I know that George Lucas was trying to, get across Anakin's Vader and this, and that's my one critique. But I also disagree that it's not canned. You're looking at it as canned, but it's already a set story. So it's going to, follow certain things, because if they were like, well, how about this? Obi-Wan was never his master. Obi-Wan just said that in episode 4.
Yeah, it's the fate of prequels in general, and I still think, even though they are prequels, they still made it in a way that it was not clear from the start. Like, I don't know, I grew up with watching the prequels first and then the OT, and it just works. So
yeah.
I want to say Iroh. When I first saw Qui-Gon, I said it before. I thought, oh look, it's my dad. But I thought, who is this dude, and why are more Jedi not like him? That was my first opinion. Was like, he's awesome. Why is not more people like him? Because he's so balanced. Like, he screams balanced for a Jedi.
Yeah, and and even if we dig into the thing on like the Phantom Menace, like you have there's so much that he does. Like even and I know a lot of people will dig into this. Like when you see him, very much like you see Obi-Wan do in the original trilogy, you see him using, Jedi mind tricks, and you see him manipulating the die, and he's doing these different things that you could say it's really like some would consider it a manipulation of the Force, for a certain end, because it's not diplomatic. It's like getting down into like this nitty gritty, technically cheating, all of this, but at the end he was very interested in making sure that he got Anakin. Like that's what it came down to. He's like, forget the order and checking in and going through the diplomacy and the papers. He's like, I need to get Anakin. And even it's crazy, like when you think about it, like he's gonna get Anakin's blood and send it off. Like he didn't go through all of this stuff to do it. He's just like, I'm just
right.
Kind of makes him a hypocrite of his own line, because he says nothing happens by accident, yet he manipulates the dice.
Well, yes, so it's not an accident. Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he also had a quote at some point where he was just commenting, "It seems very restrictive to me from the council." So it just shows that overall, he kind of was always open to bending the rules if it made sense or if it was the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm. This is a good question. I actually really like this one. What do you guys think of this? If you can, go back. What did you think of Qui-Gon when you first saw him in The Phantom Menace?
Oh, that's what I answered before. That's why.
Yeah, we answered that. When you were gone, we were basically saying, so when I watched prequels as a kid, I liked Qui-Gon as a character, but I didn't, at the time, I just didn't fully understand his significance to the story. He was like, oh, that's Obi-Wan's master. Done. That was pretty much it. And then over time, I understood the significance of him picking up Anakin and what he went through and how he would have changed the timeline possibly. So yeah, at the start, I probably thought of Qui-Gon as a very simple character, but that I was a kid, so I probably simplified many characters. So
sorry, I had to go get a LaCroix.
who did you have to fight? Your hair looks very...
I was going to say the same thing. Have you just been for a war for a drink?
Have you had...
I went to war.
He ran to the corner store to get a LaCroix. He's like, oh man, I'm thirsty.
Station.
I jumped out my window and ran to the gas station to get this. No, not really. But yeah, no, I had to fight for this. This video isn't sponsored by LaCroix, but like,
I just fought for
it's
it. So
definitely one of the better. It's definitely one of the better seltzers. Like, I'd recommend staying away from bubbly, and I'd stick with LaCroix.
You guys are just catching every sponsorship there is around.
I know,
exactly.
Next you know, it's going to be Raid Shadow Legends.
Oh my gosh.
PG tips for a proper brew in the morning.
That's awesome. What's up, Explorer? He said he just got here, but did he even find out as a Force ghost that Count Dooku became a Sith?
Yes, I'm a believer that Qui-Gon knew everything that was going on.
What is it with like almost every person in Qui-Gon's life becoming a Sith?
Obi-Wan didn't.
Well, Obi-Wan doesn't count though.
I did first part of one Zemo.
Right.
I so wish that I had you pulled up full screen when you made that. That face. I was like the most offended I've ever seen you. Hey, Timeline, what's up?
How dare he speak ill against Obi-Wan?
I know. What's up? And thank you for the congratulations.
I love Obi-Wan.
Hello there.
Yeah,
you hate him.
We agree. Qui-Gon is more compelling in character in the novels. They definitely
Obi-Wan.
a lot deeper. That was good, man. That was good.
I appreciate it.
What's up?
See, I'm English though. I've got the Obi-Wan accent down when I try. See, Aiden, I still agree.
We'll
I'm sorry to get off
try.
subject. That me and you need to do Obi-Wan Anakin lines.
I definitely want to do that one of these days.
look
That'd be
who
so
it
dope.
is.
And he's muted.
Hey, Blue, you don't have to answer if it like pinpoints you. Are you from Liverpool?
No, I'm not a
How are you
Scouser.
going to offend my
I
friend?
would have a completely different accent.
Can you do a Liverpool accent?
Yeah, I'd have a completely different accent. Oh God.
He's from the
Give
south.
me like 5 minutes. I don't want to-
Okay.
I am not from the South. That is offensive. You have offended me, my friend, but I love you.
He's gonna leave the stream.
No, I'm
Leave
from
Discord.
like the
He's-
middle of England.
Alright.
I'm from
I love
Sheffield.
Qui-Gon, but I don't love him as much as this stream. Just kidding.
Hello, my friends. How are
What's
you?
up? Let's see. Does this look better?
Can you
That
see
doesn't
me
look bad.
attempting to attain the glory that you have achieved and just failing miserably?
We gotta give it time.
You know, the thing is, X-Wing, now you're at the point of no return. It's
I know.
I
You
know.
gotta go all the way with it.
I'm going to go all the way to the end of November, and then if it's not there, then it's coming
Well,
up.
it's no shave November, so like you can't shave in November.
Hey, nice shirt, man.
I don't know if you guys saw this extremely comfortable, almost silky, cloud-like shirt that I'm wearing. But, yeah, is this
Holy crap!
available?
Wait,
Is
I
X-Wing
have to
sponsored
bring
by
something
two
up.
Star Wars nerds?
I have to bring this up, and it does tie into Qui-Gon and Greedo.
Oh,
Okay.
There's
Interesting.
this deleted scene in Revenge of the Sith
Oh
where
yeah.
you see little Greedo and like pick a fight with little Anakin. And he's like,
Phantom
look,
Menace. Yeah.
he's like, I think he's like a slave boy as well. They're like little kids, and Greedo's like saying that, like, oh, you cheated on the pod race. No way you won that. You're just like a kid. Like, no way. I could have easily done that myself or whatever. And Anakin like got upset, and they got in a fight, and Qui-Gon showed up, and he just dropped some straight knowledge. It's probably my favorite Qui-Gon quote, because he's like, well, hold up. He said, he basically looked at Greedo, and then he looked at Anakin. He's like, what's going on here? And Anakin was like, he called me a cheater. And Qui-Gon was like, did you? And Anakin was like, no. He's like, well, then, you know the truth. You'll just have to tolerate his opinion. And then just walk off. Like, that dude gets it. This dude is a badass. One of my favorite quotes. I even use it sometimes.
Nice.
isn't there a deleted scene where Anakin fights Baby Greedo in the
Yes,
street?
that's
Yeah,
what he
that's-
was
that's
talking
what
about.
I just mentioned that whole thing.
I'm an idiot.
X-Wing, awake.
Hey, I'm sorry. I haven't gotten
funny.
into full stream mode yet.
That's funny.
He
No, yeah,
hasn't
that's-
had a cup of tea either.
No PG
He
yet.
hasn't had a brew.
That's my problem.
Yeah, I mean I like that so much because in Phantom Menace too, it's very interesting how like he views like everybody equal or less than. Like he doesn't have this superiority thing. Like even with Jar Jar, just like his thoughts of him as a lesser life form, just like right in front of him, like has no problem talking down to him, and it's just interesting how he's like, just don't concern yourself with that, like stay focused, like yeah, it's crazy.
That thing.
Was
Don't concern
an
yourself with it.
Obi-Wan reference right there?
What was that?
What was that an Obi-Wan reference right there? Like, why do I feel like we picked up another useless life form?
Mhm.
It's another
Yes.
difference between Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan.
Mhm.
Possibly.
No, I agree. I still think Qui-Gon has the best roast of Jar Jar. The ability to make you speak does not make you intelligent.
Yeah,
Best one ever.
Put Jar Jar in his place.
yeah.
I use that
100%.
frequently.
Yes.
It's my favorite when people aren't Star Wars fans too,
Mhm.
and they're like, "Damn, that was a deep hit." I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
characters
Guess where I
hold
got
that
it
to a
from.
CGI character."
Yeah.
Go.
Just
Too soon. Greedo punches first this time.
Bro.
Ouch.
That's funny.
Rough.
Off topic
Ooh.
for 15 seconds. Can you speak with a Cockney accent?
Love you, George, but that was a mistake. Horn shot first.
Can you say that
For God's
as-
sake.
in a Cockney accent?
Cockney's pretty easy, isn't it?
I wouldn't know.
Just do an Obi-Wan impression. I'll be happy.
It's not for somebody who's from Sheffield.
Oh, you
'Cause we
like what around here come down to me.
Sub 4.
What's up, boy?
okay,
Blimey.
just change subject.
Sponsorships.
You see,
I know, right?
I don't have the ability.
video's already
The best
sponsored by too many
accent I can
things.
do that's not mine is London.
A London accent? What would you say? I have an
Okay,
accent?
I be from freaking Liverpool.
Is that what we sound like when I do a British accent? Because that was.
I'm
yeah.
so confused.
I be from Liverpool.
Yes, that is what you sound like to me when you were like, I'll be from Liverpool. I'm going to go down to the pub.
That sounds a bit more Irish, doesn't it? That doesn't even sound like it's from Great Britain.
I know, that's what I mean. We can't do Cockney accents because we go Irish.
Have a good night, bro.
I'll tell if you want.
Bro,
Instead of
Paul's
Cockney,
leaving?
I'll give you some words we say in Sheffield. If you ever want to have a conversation. Bye, Paul. Well, if you ever want to have a conversation with someone, we say we're going to have a chin wag.
A chin whack. Probably won't use that.
My teacher said it to me. He goes,
right.
"We're going to have a chin wag," and I was like, "What?"
Wag.
He's like, "A
No.
conversation." I was like, "Okay." No.
Well, this got off.
Yeah.
And
Qui-Gon.
we say the a lot.
Life of Qui.
My God.
That devolved quickly.
Qui-Gon.
Well, let's go into this final.
Yeah, I'm so
little
sorry. I
stint.
can't do a Cockney
No.
accent. I failed.
You're good. You're good. We'll just say you did and just give you an award. So let's dig into maybe like two final things for Qui-Gon. We have Duel of the Fates, and obviously if anybody hasn't seen it, we've referenced it quite a bit with Dave Filoni talking about Duel of the Fates. Fantastic.
So good.
But then in addition to that,
Mortis arc, because on
Oh,
Mortis
yeah,
you can
yeah.
actually physically appear.
Yeah.
I assume that's what you were referencing
Correct.
to begin
Yeah.
with. But
Sorry,
Duel
I
of
had.
Fates
No, you're
is all
good.
about.
Horrible, but I had to.
Nah, you good. Duel of Fates is all about the fate of Anakin. Who will train Anakin? What will be Anakin's fate? Because Qui-Gon's death literally changes everything. And Obi-Wan is then tasked with training this kid, this young boy. And I don't know, I never really fully understood why Yoda was like, okay, yeah, you can train him. That's cool. Even though Obi-Wan was still a Padawan, but like I get the circumstances allowed for Obi-Wan to train him, and I'm fine with it. And it makes like, of course, like makes the Clone Wars so much. I don't know. I'm happy with it. I just never really understood like Yoda's thought process on why he was like, okay, I know that you're still like technically you're now a knight because you defeating Darth Maul was like your trial. You succeeded.
Right.
But like to see him jump from that straight into training this already unbalanced kid just seemed a little odd, but like Qui-Gon, that was his final wish, and Yoda understood this, and he knew that technically Obi-Wan's teachings would kind of be an extension of Qui-Gon. And I feel like just because of the circumstances being aligned, he was like, okay, you will train him, but you're gonna like you gotta take this seriously. But the Duel of Fates was all about the fate of Anakin. That's how Dave explained it in the Mandalorian Gallery. And I don't know, I think like that makes it like the stakes are definitely a lot like they're like higher, because like it's not just about the fate of like Qui-Gon or Obi-Wan and Darth Maul. It's about the fate of the galaxy, essentially. now it will turn out based on this one duel.
Yeah.
I feel like I've talked way too much.
No, that was good, man.
Let it
Yeah,
out.
but just to add on that point, I think why Yoda eventually decided that Obi-Wan is allowed to train Anakin was kind of just this Yoda being Yoda.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was kind of a similar moment than in Season 7 of Clone Wars where where Mace was sort of like, oh, that is of no concern to you, citizen. And Yoda stayed and, like, talked to Ahsoka. I think that was...
Yoda was just a kind-hearted human
kind of
being.
moment. Right, but I think that's just
I don't know about a
the way
human
Yoda
being.
is. He
My bad. A kind-hearted, whatever he is, little green frog man, little green friend. I don't know.
You sound like a separatist.
Not frog man.
Aiden, you're going down a path I can't follow.
Because of Yoda.
Because of you and what you said about it.
So I have like an interesting thought. A what if you might.
Yeah.
So what if we get the same scene and Yoda basically says, "No, you can't train him. I will take him as my own." We never really consider the fact where Yoda, when he said he can't be trained, he's too old. And, we think about Obi-Wan and he says he's too young to handle this. What if Yoda took on Anakin as an apprentice?
I think there could be something there because even if you look at Revenge of the Sith, Anakin did not go to Obi-Wan to tell him about his nightmares. He went straight to Yoda. I feel like Anakin and Yoda sort of had this unspoken bond almost. Because even in the Clone Wars, you can see Anakin and Anakin and Yoda's relationship and their dynamic. Anakin, I feel like, had a lot more trust in Yoda at certain things because he was the Grand Master of the Jedi Order. He was the one who was like he was the one who knew it all. Basically, he was the
Yoda also
wise Jedi Master.
The Skywalkers.
I know.
He did the same thing with his dad that he did with his kid. He's like, always looking to the future, never here.
Right, and I mean, he was also the one that Anakin seeked after when he had the visions. Like he didn't talk to Obi-Wan at all.
I legit just mentioned that.
But he talked. Right, but like I'm. All right, jackass.
Oh, bro, chill.
Chill. Not the only one that has knowledge about Star Wars. No, but he definitely had trust in Yoda.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think if we're thinking about like the what ifs, I think Qui-Gon would work better than Yoda because I think where Qui-Gon would be very practical and like in the now following the Force, where I feel like Yoda is a little too almost like mystical. Like he has like the proper like in the temple training, but that's not like real life. And like you do see him like tear it up when he has to leave the temple and when he has to go deal with things. But a lot of his time is spent on meditation and is spent like counsel. It's almost like, I mean, it'd be interesting to see the hundreds of years before that, to see his life. But I wonder if Yoda was if he would be too out of touch with somebody like Anakin. Because I feel like with what you see with Luke is that he lets Luke go. And I feel like with Anakin, he would let Anakin go and fail. I don't know if he would.
Yeah.
I don't know if he would work to stop him. Where I feel
Yeah.
like Qui-Gon would get so close that he would want to step in front and like try and pull him back.
I feel like honestly,
Qui-Gon would though, because the difference between Qui-Gon and Yoda, I would say, is that obviously we had Qui-Gon who was instilled with this passion for the prophecy, and the Jedi of old, the mystics, who really believed in that thought of what we see happens. And so I think Anakin was kind of instilled with that, whereas Yoda, he believes in it 100%, and he always has Force visions, but he understands that what you see through the Force isn't always exactly what's going to happen. You know,
I feel like
the will of the Force changes.
the more that I think about this, I don't think Yoda would have been the best fit for Anakin. I think the person who really could have been the best fit for Anakin, I think Mace Windu probably should have been the one to train Anakin. Like, because Mace Windu, because like I feel like Yoda always did this thing where he liked to play dumb, sort of like he always like questions or like teases Anakin about certain things, and like Anakin never picks up on it, and it's just like Yoda's just a different person, and I feel like Mace is like a lot more dark, and I feel like he would have taught Anakin how to be like, no, you want to use the dark side, you're going to use it like this, and if you don't listen, well, then there's going to be consequences.
Dude, Mace would be a perfect fit for Anakin.
I know.
He would have helped him. He would have helped him harness his furnace heart.
Mm-hmm. Mace, the problem is that just Mace hated Anakin.
I think, first of all, I don't think he would have ever taken him as an apprentice.
And hated him.
The other thing is, I think if he would have been his master, he would have turned dark side in episode 2.
I don't know.
I think that would have been too extreme. Way
I
too
feel like
extreme.
I don't think Mace would have taught Anakin the pod because he knew himself that form can directly lead to the dark side. But I definitely feel that Mace would have let Anakin, like he would have shown Anakin how to deal with his dark side emotions rather than just suppress them. Whereas Obi-Wan was like, no. Whereas Obi-Wan was more like in the middle. He never really tapped into the dark side like Mace did. So he never really had that level.
You paint an Anakin scar on your face?
What?
It looks like you have an Anakin scar on your face.
I think it's his hair.
I think it's just my hair.
Oh, there it is. Oh my god, that's so funny. You literally had it looked, oh my gosh, that's funny.
Tattoo.
That's not a bad tattoo idea, but like, I don't think I want a tattoo.
I just want to say,
You've been out for a little while.
You,
Everyone gets delusions of grandeur.
You've been here since 25 subs. Crazy. Well, thank you so much. And you're from Germany too. Extra awesome. Very cool.
I mean, I was there at like 12.
12. You know what I think is so interesting, even about the whole, Anakin-centric conversation with this, like with Qui-Gon. I think Qui-Gon and Mace are almost like opposite sides of the coin. I mean, they didn't like each other, and I think they stand for even very different things. And it would be very interesting to see. I wish we could have like a book dedicated to like what if, and I mean maybe there will be a what if, but I doubt they would go this deep. But like, what if Anakin, like what if Qui-Gon lived and Anakin was trained under Qui-Gon? I think they would be totally different, completely away from Council. You just have Qui-Gon 2.0, a better Qui-Gon, truly bringing balance to the Force. I think without the dark side, where I feel like with Mace would be too controlling and
I feel like
too Council.
A lot of Jedi didn't like Mace.
Yeah, and I just feel like it would be too. I don't know. I feel like it'd be like, you have to fit this box, you have to submit, you have to do this, which, I mean, that didn't really even work with him and Obi. So then to throw Mace and his personality,
Mace would have really put Anakin in his place. And like the thing with Anakin is that Anakin is rebellious. He was already raised with 10 years on his belt with his mom and everything. He already had these attachments, and I feel like Mace being like the second in charge, like he was most of the reason why, if you look at it from a standpoint of the Council, he was the one. He and Yoda were the ones that like let all these votes sort of like, they were like the deciding factor. And so the reason why Qui-Gon never wanted to be on the Council was because he didn't like the decision making. But if most of that decision making is coming from people like Mace, then I can understand why he would have a problem with these certain things. And that's why I feel like Anakin would have been more I don't know. I just feel like Mace would have been a great fit, but then there's certain parts where it's like, okay, I think Obi-Wan did better with that because Mace.
I feel like
would
the
never
fun
allowed
part
Anakin to
think
talk
about
anything.
there is that, like, okay, so if he was fit with another master, things would have ended up differently. Obviously, they would have, right? But the chosen one has to bring balance to the Force. And if Anakin stayed with the light, balance would not have been brought to the Force because another much more dangerous, much more powerful Sith would have had to have been created and trained to counteract Anakin in the light. Right? Doesn't that make sense? Because that's what happened with Vader. Vader goes, and then what's his counterpart is Luke, and then they wind up working together to basically destroy the darkness in the galaxy. But, and I kind of hate this, Palpatine remained so that there could be a balance in the Force, because you can't have yin without yang, right? That's balance. All light is not balance. All dark is not balance, but dark and light is a balance.
Well, look at the end of Revenge of the Sith. Anakin technically left only 2 Jedi and 2 Sith, Obi-Wan and Yoda, him and his master. That's balance.
Right.
That's not fulfillment of the prophecy, but that is still technically, in the literal sense, balance.
Yeah. What is fulfillment of the prophecy, though? What is, I mean...
I always thought the prophecy was viewed as fulfilling, well, like the way that the Mortis arc and that, I don't want to say that Dave really explains it, but like the way that the Mortis arc conveyed it is that, and I don't know if it's like, I don't even know if that really counts. This really counts as balance, but balance is eradication of the dark and supremacy of the light. Anakin's role was to eradicate the dark side. And basically, true balance remains on the light side. But I don't think that's balance. That just feels like, I don't feel like you can have one without the other. Like you just said, you can't have yin without
one
the yang.
prophecy.
The problem is, and why George
I agree.
intended 6 to be the last, is Luke didn't need an opposite because Luke was a gray Jedi basically at that point.
The balance.
The balance. That's why.
Well, think about it. Anakin died right after he fulfilled the prophecy,
That's fan fiction.
leaving only Luke. So
Because George wouldn't
eradicate
have
the
let
dark.
this open if Luke would have just been a straight Jedi, like in the golden age of the Jedi.
Only the light.
Right.
Well,
because Luke
I think
exemplified
I think when you're talking about Luke, what kept coming to mind, honestly, not even just for the sake of the stream, but was Qui-Gon in the term, like, think about what you see Luke do outside of the Jedi Order. You see a lot of light, and you do see some, it's not full dark, but you see some things that would be crossing lines in the Jedi Order.
I will love you.
And I think with Qui-Gon, I think you see that same thing. And I think it's that whole idea of following the living force. I think that's what balance is. I think that's why the Jedi Order ended up collapsing in on itself, because it was their idea of balance was separate from, like, I think what Qui-Gon's idea was. It was very much like, let's just get everybody into the order and then we're good. Where
even Yoda said that, consumed by the side it was.
And and so like right here, Christopher, balance was getting rid of both sides. Vader killed the Jedi, and Anakin finished off the Sith.
Yeah, because Yoda even said it's a prophecy misread, but I always said, if that's the Jedi one, what does the Sith prophecy say about the chosen one? Will it say they will extinguish the light for good, and that darkness is the actual balance?
I don't even think the Sith are really that bad. Like the OG Sith, they're not really that bad.
The thing is, with the prophecy from the side of the Sith, I think we get a hint in Maul's reaction with him, like, in his dying moment saying, like, he will avenge us. So I do think the Sith had an idea that the chosen one might not be the way the Jedi think it's going to work out.
He did avenge them.
Oh, yeah.
He threw Palpatine down the shaft. And then obviously we unwrote all that, but when he threw Palpatine down the shaft, he did avenge them.
Yeah.
So what about this? If and maybe this gets into, this could be like a whole nother conversation that gets deeper almost. But when we're talking about the prophecy of bringing balance to the Force, I think what you see in episode 6 is that very thing. In my opinion, the end of Sith, episode 6 is bringing balance to the Force. I'm curious if
Yes.
Anakin was Qui-Gon's apprentice, Padawan apprentice, everything, right? I still think that Anakin would have brought balance to the Force, but I think it would have looked differently. I think it was less. I think the whole idea of the prophecy bringing balance to the Force was less about like the particular events that took place, and it was more centered around the person. Like I think Anakin could have brought balance to the Force without. Granted, I love all of it, but I think without the chain of events that we see, I think if he stayed under
Murder.
Qui-Gon, I think
Basically.
we would have still seen balance to the Force, but it just would have been probably a lot more boring.
I think Anakin would have basically been the shoe-in for Palpatine, is what would have happened. He would have kept his body, still become a Sith over fear of what might have happened to Padme, but retained his entire body. You say, but just let me finish here. He would
That's
have.
why I'm only saying,
He would have retained his entire body.
Minecraft villager.
Padme would die in childbirth, as he thought, but from complications, not from, I'm sad. And then he would have gone off the deep end completely. They would have taken the children and hid them off, and then Luke would have risen to be the balance between the dark and the light, and then they would have fought basically to the death. I like that offshoot. Shut up, Strike.
I have
Well,
a
I hope
different
you like it.
view, but sorry to say.
all right.
Go for it, man.
That wasn't Strike, was it?
No, Strike laughed too. Well, he's got his camera on, so I didn't get to see your face when you laughed at me.
You go ahead, Blue. Go get him.
Do it.
No, I didn't laugh. I agree, and sort of. I think if Anakin stayed and remained a Jedi, the balance would have been Luke falling to the dark side. If Anakin, stayed, he'd still have the children. Padme still would have died. But if Anakin, didn't go to the dark side, I think Luke would have fell to the dark side, as you said, to balance it out. Because everyone's like, Luke's the chosen one. No, Luke's just the catalyst to bring Anakin back so he can restore the balance. But I think if it happened the other way, Anakin stayed good, Luke would have gone evil. Or maybe Leia would have gone evil.
I like that.
Anakin is the chosen one, plain and simple. That's how it was created. That's how it always will be.
And that's, ladies and gentlemen, is how you kill a conversation about Star Wars.
Let me ask you guys this.
The name of the
thought.
George, the Lucas, and of the Holy Trilogy.
That's awesome. So I have a question, and maybe this has been answered somewhere, and I don't know. But when you're looking at the events of the Phantom Menace, obviously what happens with Qui-Gon dying at the hands of Maul, but then becoming a Force ghost, which obviously he reaches out to Anakin, and then you have Anakin teaching Obi-Wan how to become a Force ghost. You have all this stuff, right? Do you think part of the battle meditation that you see in the Phantom Menace with Qui-Gon during the Duel of Fates, do you think that's him going in knowingly willing to give his life? Because if you think about it, if he lives, there's a lot of stuff that can't happen. And I mean, if we stick down to this particular route, maybe through prophecy.
Are you saying that he kind of knew he was going to die? Or was like,
yeah, and I don't want to say, because you don't see him just like allow it. You do see like he did get
it's
a better
genuinely,
shot.
it looks like he got genuinely stunned and then just caught off guard. But I do feel like that like everything, the way it played out, like maybe Qui-Gon was making more of a sacrifice.
Yeah.
So I agree 100%. If you've read Master and Apprentice, you know that he knows that stuff early on. Early on, he can already sense what's going to happen in a room. He already knows what's going to happen. That was a major part of Master and Apprentice, was him having these Force visions. And so to me, when I watch The Phantom Menace, in that last moment when he's sitting there and he meditates right before he goes to fight Maul, in that last little bit, I think he's coming to peace with it, and he's doing everything that he can to become one with the living Force before he gets killed. Because he doesn't do that in any other fight. He never sits down and meditates. And I don't think it was like I'm doing battle meditation. I think that was his last living will and testament before that Force shield opened, for him to become one with the Force before he knew he was going to get killed. Yeah. And that's why his last dying wish was not like, hey, you can be such a good Jedi. He's like, train the child.
Yeah.
My only question, or there's nothing to do with Qui-Gon, but during that fight, why didn't Obi-Wan use Force speed to catch up to Qui-Gon? He just ran like, he in the very beginning of the film, they both used Force speed to avoid battle droids. If this is a life or death situation, why didn't he use Force speed to speed through the generators to catch up to his master?
There are 15,000 situations that he could have used Force speed for in all of the movies. Just let it go.
Right.
Just let it go, man. Just let it go.
What's funny, I had actually never thought about that until today, because I saw somebody made a video on that very thing. And I was like, I've never actually thought about that. That's super
Once
cool.
you do it, just like, oh my god, what hold up?
He could have used Force speed to get behind Maul, and maybe it would have wound up different. There's 1,000 Force abilities that could have changed the situation. But
why did he also destroy any of the generators?
You ever been in a fist fight? Sometimes you don't think clearly.
They could have just destroyed the things that connected the ray shields.
Well, and the thing is, at the end of the day, it is a story. It wouldn't be that entertaining if it was just going to be over at that point. So,
yeah, being logical is bad for storytelling.
Plot demands sacrifice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Plot demands Qui-Gon dead.
I have to go.
Well, that's actually perfect. Why don't you do this? Because we're actually nearing the 2-hour mark, so we're just about to wrap things down. Well, let's start with you, Mr. X-Wing. I will swing around. Say your piece, like Qui-Gon, become one with the living Force before we all just start popping off.
Yeah, I love Qui-Gon. He's always been my favorite Jedi. I don't know if it's Liam Neeson's is my but I love.
This is a very particular set of skills.
Yeah, he's the embodiment of what I feel like the Jedi should be and should always strive to be. And a lot of people think of like, oh, Ahsoka's a gray Jedi.
Him or Luke.
Like, I feel like Qui-Gon was the ideal Jedi for the time.
Because there's gray Jedi.
Yeah.
It still has the word Jedi in it. And there's Ahsoka who's like, I'm no Jedi.
Yeah, for like the time that he was living in, where, and I always bring it back to like the Knights Templar, where you had to follow the order of God. And he's like, well, maybe God's wrong sometimes. And everybody's like, you can't say that. And he's like, well, I'm just going to kind of follow. You know what I mean? That was kind of Qui-Gon. He did what was right.
Yeah, 100%.
Through his morality, and that's why I loved him as a Jedi Knight.
Yes.
Had it been a different time, he might have been different, but for the time he was given and everything around him, I feel like he operated as the greatest Jedi he could be given the time. And he was the most gray among the Jedi. He even turned an appointment to the council down. So I love Qui-Gon Jinn. He's my favorite. His saber's badass. Love his saber. Yeah, Qui-Gon's a homie. He died too young, and that's it.
Very cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for popping in. Very cool to have you.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, of course. All right, take it
I
easy.
will. I'll pop out, and I will see you guys later.
See ya.
See you.
Cool. Well, I think this
Peace.
is really cool for Qui-Gon. Granted, that's why we do giveaways of like the books and stuff, because you can keep digging in more and more and more to this, and what we're finding is these life and lore start to scratch the surface. I feel like we did a pretty good job with Qui-Gon, actually covering a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because the window of what we have to look at is a lot shorter. But let's do this for a final little thing around the panel here. Thank you, Daryl. Anything coming up that you guys want to let us know about? If not, that's cool too.
What do you mean, like our streams or like
Yeah, your stuff.
events coming up? Well, for me, it's this is mainly for you as well. Is I have gone deep into the depths of Aragorn's history,
Very cool.
like the whole of the Dunedain Rangers and the time before they came and settled. And that is just my like big project for a stream that I'd love to have all three of you on, because my last Lord of the Rings stream was so much fun.
Very cool.
Like all the different guests.
Always.
Very cool. Yeah, lots of Lord of the Rings lore on your YouTube, man. It's great stuff. Thank you so much, Timothy. Mr. Strike, you have anything coming up?
Nothing specifically. I am thinking about doing another building stream with some people.
Cool.
Probably like not next week, but like the weeks following that one. Yeah. Other than that, nothing special. Just gonna leave one last interesting thing about that I found in the Jedi book. The Qui-Gon was.
Yeah.
He was not sponsored by the
I was
Jedi
going
Pack.
to do this.
He was not.
Yeah, I was going to do the same. Get one last little Qui-Gon line in.
And so
Um,
funny. You want to do first, or?
Yeah, because mine's like really quick.
Alright.
Just one thing I love pointing out, and it's Captain Obvious sort of pointing out. Qui-Gon's line of "I do what I must, Obi-Wan." When I heard Obi-Wan say that, all that's going through my mind was in this moment he's thinking, what would Qui-Gon do in this situation between the Obi-Wan and Anakin fight? And I think when Obi-Wan's fighting, all he's doing is thinking of what Qui-Gon said of, "I will do what I must, Obi-Wan."
Yeah, it's a good one.
And Qui-Gon is just a genius. Like, he's brilliant, and I love the dude. That's all I have to say.
Yes.
Sweet.
Very good quote. But yeah. So what he commented on in the book was the part where there's like a list of the traits of lightsabers, and one of the traits that was written down was it cuts through metal, and he just commented, "Very useful." And I just felt like, yeah, you literally try to fucking melt an entire door.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's it for me.
Yeah, it's awesome. Mr. Aiden.
I love you, man.
Me too, man.
Um,
You guys
So-
need a room? Hey, Blue, will we?
Sorry.
I mean,
love
if you guys
you,
don't
Aiden.
mind, I love you too, man.
We'll leave you to it then.
I love you too, Strike.
Love you too.
No, but I do not have anything coming up. I don't know. I just kind of just show up.
Video.
As you can see, we are pretty lazy, and like other than
Well-
that guy,
I mean,
Well,
I got
yeah,
work and I got
just-
school going on, which is like
right?
90% of my day.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. I love it so much. Yeah. Thanks so much for having me on. It's
Same
it's always
here,
a
man.
pleasure. I had a
Yeah.
lot of fun talking about Qui-Gon and all the sponsorships.
Hey, the new Lego set.
I know, right?
I had a lot of fun. Yeah. Thank you so
Well,
much.
Aiden,
I'm very appreciative.
Aiden, you
Yes,
do have
man.
something coming up. Shout out your Anakin video.
I did make an Anakin Skywalker tribute.
Nice.
I saw that you commented on it. It was very appreciated it. Yeah, it's on my channel if anyone wants to check it out. 3 minutes long. Yes, that is really all I got. Just thanks again, man.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and then just in closing, we're gonna do these Life and Lores every Monday night, and then we're gonna do some gaming every Sunday afternoon, and that's all Pacific time. So that's just where we are in the world. And we actually kind of, I know scaled things back for us. We kind of go a little intense, but we have like 3 videos a week. So we're gonna have a Clone Wars review every week. We're gonna have like a character deep dive, and then our wisdom talks. We're gonna have that as well. And the last thing I'll do, because I'm so excited to make this happen, this controller right here, a little fishing rod. I have something with this coming up soon. So maybe I'll do it on the next gaming stream. It's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, it's an actual like PS2 fishing controller.
And remember, there's always a bigger fish.
I want to throw one last thing in.
Yeah.
The Obi-Wan, when you get to Obi-Wan,
yeah,
I'm there. There's no need for a guess.
There we go. I know that one. There's somewhere
everyone.
We have like we have some that we still need to finish, and I know Obi-Wan's going to be a multi-part one. And then what time is it for you guys? For me, it is just about 8 p.m.
It's like 11, I think. 11 p.m. over here.
It's 4 a.m.
Yeah.
It's 5 a.m. for strike.
we're a global channel, apparently. But yeah, anyways, this has been a lot of fun. I'm going to end the broadcast. But yeah, love to talk Qui-Gon with everybody in the chat. Congratulations, Cooper, for your win. We'll make sure we send those books out to you. And you guys have a nice rest of your day, morning,